Oh, hi there. So this is the update on on Tiny, the superdwarf reticulated Python. So basically, there was a request for me to show you this guy because I will only show him in his enclosure, but probably that would basically be a better reference of his size. So he's almost a sub-adult. He's almost 3 years old, and as you can see, I doubt he weighs more than 1 kilogram. So that's basically not too heavy as he's still an inquisitive little beast. And his colors are insane. If you can have a closer look, probably by this type of LED light, they actually make these colors shine much brighter. And what happens is that this is a platinum gene. This is a 79% Madu male. And what really happens is that the older these guys get, the more bright they also get. So every shed, basically, there's like another surprise. And this guy has been absolutely sweet. And recently, I've actually redone a little bit his enclosure. If we can have a look, you can see. If you probably remember, there were a lot of branches before, but some of them were not so sturdy. So there were like more like sticks like that. And this guy has grown significantly. Say hi. This guy has grown significantly. So I was a bit concerned that at one point, these branches or perches, you name it, would collapse and, cause harm to the animal because, no one wants to fall. So I went to the forest and I collected some new ones. And probably that's a good thing to tell you about, like what do I do to preserve or, to maintain these branches after, bringing them back home. So first of all, look for the wood which is freshly cut. So we always collect always collect the branches from like the, from plants which have leaves, like not needles, so not pines or not pine wood or anything, because of the resin that can emerge and can also harm your animal. And also try to find something which is freshly cut, like lumberjacks do the work, and after that you go and collect something fresh. Then you need to wait a little for it to dry. Some of the branches might already be dry, which is very good. And why it's good, I will tell you a bit more soon. So then, once I've collected these branches, I take them home. I give them a good wash, to remove any dirt that builds up on their surface. And I actually do not remove any bark. You can do it, but it's not definitely necessary, from what I found out. Uh, but try to take those freshly cut, because if you find something which's been lying on the forest floor for too long, then there is a risk that you will find an ant colony, and you will figure it out like a couple of days later. Like there will be an ant here, ant there, and another ant over there, and you'll be like picking them out every day. So this is something to avoid, definitely. So what I'm trying to do is first take them home, wash them actually sprinkle them good with salt. So I use a lot of salt, and then I wait for about like 2 or 3 days. Then I'm washing again under the shower, like to really rinse that salt really well. And then after that, I let them dry, like really let them dry. So then basically what they do is first they shrink, because the wood will significantly shrink once it's dry. So you will know basically the final size of your branch or of your perch that you want to use. And then any mold that can build up, basically that will not happen because the wood is dry inside. So it's a much lower chance of getting any mold, even though you left that bark on a branch. And then what I do is that, of course, I measure it. And here there are like the little hangers, if we can see them a little bit more closely. When these branches are mounted, what you can do is also you can put a screw or a needle or something through the side of the enclosure, and mount them like that. And if I happen actually to cut it a bit too short, which it can happen, because surprisingly, like, these walls of the enclosure are not super straight. Then if I really like a branch, then I'm actually trying to put some hooks on the side, so I really mount them in a solid way. And what you can also do, if we can have a look a bit closer here, is to actually wrap each branch on top of another to create that sturdy structure, so they won't move, they won't be moved by a snake moving around at night on the surface. And to make sure, actually, if you build a vertical enclosure like that, to do some kind of like a ladder. So basically there will be branches starting out from the bottom, then going up to the top. So basically the snake, there's like a much smaller chance for a snake to fall. He will basically prefer to climb it gradually. And as you can see, like he really prefers it to be on top. So if you have a super dwarf retic, I would say that a shelf should become like a minimum, because even though this enclosure is quite small, so basically that's 120 centimeters to 120 centimeters high, and so it's probably like 4 feet, but the snake lives not on the surface, it lives within volume, and that makes a great difference, because at any time he can choose any point within this enclosure and basically utilize the whole space. So I would say a shelf should become like a minimum if you want these guys to really explore and enjoy their time. Oh, and by the way, this black thing is not a poop. It actually comes from thermostat. So no fault on my side. And that's basically Tiny after almost 3 years of us being together. Thanks, everyone.